Billy, you got that? Remember after the Tottenham game, I sent you that WhatsApp when I said I'm worried about these teams being flat. Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, bro, because here was the thing. Here was the angle you didn't look at. Bro, the rest angle works later in the season. It's still early. You know what I'm saying? Then that's why I thought, because I pulled back on those other bets. Like I only bet half units on some of those 1 unit plays because I thought that like those teams would come out flat. You know, so yeah. What do you got for sports news?
Yo, we're back with well, let me introduce him. Yo, we're back with a boy from London town, Billy Body. What it do? Boom. With the hot news.
What were you saying?
Oh, no. What do you got for wrestling news? We'll talk sports in a minute.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's only one story this week. So remember I said to you that Braun was coming in to work with Roman Reigns.
Mm-hmm.
And they were going to do that at Saudi.
Right.
They're not doing that at Saudi now. They're still gonna do it. Braun's still going to SmackDown to work with Roman Reigns.
Right.
But they're doing a Logan Paul match instead. The reason behind it was because Logan Paul, about when was it? Like a week and a half ago, said that he wanted to go to the show. He's got a business partner from England called KSI. Do you know KSI?
Yeah, of course KSI. No, we talked. The guy fought. Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't know that you guys.
We did not realize this. That his first fight with KSI did 2 million buys. I was like, we were fascinated by that. I was like, I couldn't believe that that thing drew so well. You know, which is why WWE is like obviously invested in this guy now. So.
What do you mean he did 2 million buys? That's not right.
Well, what's the number? I said, Joe, didn't we read the thing? He said did 2 million on either the first or the second one? What were the buys that he did with KSI? Offhand, you know?
For sure, one of them was over 1 million.
I don't think that was trackable on buys because it was a YouTube Red upgrade fight. So
no, I thought it was a DAZN fight, a DAZN fight, wasn't it?
No.
Oh, it wasn't? Oh, okay. Well, maybe.
No,
whatever. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think.
I definitely read somewhere, Billy, that it was like over 1 million people viewed, buyed, whatever the terminology would be. That fight that he had with that other influencer, KSI or whatever the PSI.
Yeah, perhaps he did. But it wouldn't be grossing in the top, in the top of combat fights because they're all Connor's fights and Canelo fights and Mayweather fights, and so it's not there. So it must be.
Compare KSI to a celebrity over here in the United States. We really don't know him.
Oh, I don't know. He's a YouTuber, part of a group of YouTubers where he was just the most famous.
So he's like a Logan Paul for England.
I guess so. Yeah, but he's with a group of guys called the Sidemen, and he's the most famous one. That's all he is.
Right. How many guys are in this? What is the Sidemen? How many people are we talking here?
Oh, there's 4 or 5 idiots that do like YouTube that review that do videos on YouTube. So my kid's into this stuff. I'm not really.
It's fascinating to me because I once went down a rabbit hole and I looked up like the 10 most popular guys on YouTube and women, and none of them really impressed me. From the cutie pie guy to the
PewDiePie, yeah.
Yeah, none of those. I'm like, I think they just fall in love with their personalities or something. Because I'm like thinking to myself, no way I would watch this person again.
No, you can see that even from the early Logan Paul stuff, where he was just doing little bits and pieces and pranks and things like that. Yeah, I don't know how this has all come about. I don't know what the difference is between a video that does 100 people and a video that does 10 million people. There's nothing.
Well, because you gotta like the person's personality. What else could it be? Because a lot of it is not that. There's no real talent. There's nothing. I'm like, okay, why do they have so many followers?
Let me ask you this. Maybe it's this.
I was watching this thing. I was watching this thing on that group. I think it's BTS, that Korean K-pop group. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that they were saying is that they were very, very popular because early on they did a lot of interactivity with their fans. And so their fans kind of fell in love with them as a shoot because they were so accessible. You know what I'm saying? And kind of like what the Young Bucks would kind of do at the indie shows. Because you'd go to the indie shows and you'd always see, and I actually observed this firsthand, you'd always see people come up to most of the wrestlers, especially the veterans, and they're like, take a picture, get the out of here. And you just feel like you're being rushed and you just feel like you don't mean anything. And the Young Bucks were like, hey, how you doing? What's your name? What do and they invested time in you and you felt special and you felt like, wow, they give a about me. You know what? I'm going to buy their shirt. I'm going to follow them. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's one of the things when fans can relate to you because you're accessible to them and you're not just trying to make money off of them or brush them off. I think that makes a big difference, Billy.
Yeah, that's the point. Like, how do you start? Like, what brings you from 100 people to 1,000 to 10,000 if you haven't got good content there? Like at the same time, like that's the thing.
Because you're accessible. Like if a person writes to you, maybe you write them back, or you give them a phone call, or you send them some graphic or some where they feel there's a lot of lonely out there.
I'm going to bring this up because I was just thinking about this as we're discussing it. Maybe it's the way like that social behavior has created this herd and sheep mentality that you're supposed to, because like people that are like consuming something and liking it, that you're supposed to like it too. Perfect example. Like I've been getting a lot of I tweet some stuff and I get like a lot of the same comments online, like almost identical, just like they're almost like they're bots. Oh, jobber, you were never made like all, and it's like these numbers have like grown exponentially very quickly. Like I'm surprised how a lot of the hate I get online now has exploded recently. Where I'm just getting like, and then it's all the same. Jobber, you were never over. Everybody changes channel, and like it's just like this wave of like these comments. I just wonder if like social media has had this like hypnotic kind of like thing to it, where if you're focused on a screen. So the content, you're not really like focused on anything else. Like the content almost kind of hypnotizes you. And if a bunch of other people are liking it and say, like your brain tells you, I'm supposed to like this too. Do you think there's something to that? Like,
I wouldn't.
People blow up very quickly sometimes.
No, I just think that I just think it's okay. Well, I'm going to tell you what I think it is. I just think it's the echo chamber mentality when people don't have the time to research something for themselves and they go on what other people think that they know. So, for example, I don't know, let's just say, and this is an example. Let's say Billy's burying somebody and we don't really know that person, but we're like, well, Billy's burying him. He can't be cool. So we bury him too because Billy's burying him. And then somebody's burying him because we're burying him. And so I think it's more of a herd mentality, echo chamber type thing.
Yeah, that is what it is. Because in Disco's case, everybody knew who the Disco Inferno was. It's not the same character as Hulk Hogan. Like that was obvious. But in terms of other people are not intelligent enough. The masses are not intelligent enough to articulate that in the form of an insult. Then Cody Rhodes did it for everybody. He gave his opinion on Glenn. Cody's opinion on Glenn is out there, and everybody just piggybacked off that. It's no coincidence that when Cody said what he said about Glenn, that everybody else, these idiots, are just copying it, and it's almost like verbatim. Give or take a sentence or two. That's it. Whereas 2-3 years ago, they couldn't articulate their feelings towards Disco, and they still can't. They just copy exactly what Cody says and rephrase the sentences around. Don't know what you think about that.
Or they literally just send the tweet again. They just copy it and send the tweet.
I see that too. Yeah, the ones just have the picture of the tweet. Have you ever spoken to Cody Rhodes since then? Have you ever had any communication with him?
Konnan has. I haven't.
Oh, Konnan has.
These people think I'm like some evil person or something. Like I'm this toxic individual or something. Like, I mean, like, when really the only time I spend is like when I go on Twitter or anything with wrestling because I have another job. It's like, I don't know. I don't care. I mean, it doesn't bother me. It's the funniest thing. Like these people try to get under my skin. Like, don't realize it's like I'm not blocking you people. So can't you tell that this does not bother me? It's like everybody still keeps trying to like get under my skin. I'm like, I don't care. Let's talk some sports.
That's the thing. That's the same thing. I get this comment all the time. It's like going, "Oh, you're this reality TV has-been." Well, I've made more money since I left. So what the do you want me to do? Do you still want me to be living? Do you still want? Am I supposed to still be living in the house where I was? Right. Where I 15 years? Like I need to move on just because you can't take the time to, to research and look into my finances and look at the other things that I've gone on and done. It's like a lot of people who I shared that house with have gone on to have normal jobs, and they can't compare like income wise. So I don't understand that insult at all. The thing is that you can't sit there and the more you try and explain to every single person or defend yourself or whatever, the worse it gets. I've now just reached the point where it's like, even though it's not 100% true, I could just turn around to people and say, hey, like, I do content. The content is created to get people to talk. I don't give a if you click like. I don't give a if you click dislike. All I need is that view counter to go up, and that's it. Like, that's not necessarily my approach. Like, I firmly believe in a lot of the things I say, or even if they're contrarian to what the sheep think. But still, like, it's the easiest argument that you can make is, hey, I'm making content, and I don't give a like whether you like it or not. Because the people that what I found about this current like crop of people is the people that dislike it or want to click the thumbs down are actually more likely to come back to do it over and over again. Like, that's how toxic that we've made things. Let me finish this bit of news, so I know you want to move on. So yeah, the fight, it's been changed because Logan Paul and his business partner KSI, they want to be in Saudi. They asked Triple H if they can be in Saudi to promote the Prime drink and to get him onto the show. They have a drink called Prime, which is completely sold out in England. It's doing well in the US. It's exclusive to Walmart, I think. They want to get that over. They want to get that over to Saudi. So Logan volunteered himself for the Saudi card. At which point Triple H put him on and into the main event. This is just all happened within the space of a week. So he said he wanted to go to Saudi with KSI to get the drink over and to get it to the Saudis, and then Triple H then put him into the main event subsequently after making himself available.
Main event against who?
Roman.
Logan Paul against Roman?
Yeah. You heard this?
No.
This just blew up today because Roman was on Roman was on Logan's podcast.
Right.
And like they're spinning an angle off of this. This happened like past 2 days. I
didn't see it.
They'll announce something
let me
tonight.
ask you this too. The Saudi, I heard Brock's name being thrown out there too. Brock and Lashley, is that happening?
I'm not too sure. Like Brock's just been put out onto the Royal Rumble poster and everything, so we know he's going to be at Rumble and Mania. Usually, like, there's a 99% chance Brock does do the Saudi cards because they want a lot of money. Yeah, they want him over there. But yeah, this is shifted from Strowman just because the chronological order is Logan told Triple H that he wants to be on the card. He wants to be in Saudi with KSI for Prime Energy Drink. And then since then it's just snowballed into him just facing Roman. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure the stuff on the podcast or whatnot was signed off on by Triple H. I don't think it was done by accident. Much like McAfee and Adam Cole a few years ago, that was set up by Triple H as well. So Triple H is instrumental. And I mean, I don't think his shows are as good as people think. I think they're better. Like, before we go down this rabbit hole again where people are going, oh, Billy just hates what we like because you're idiots. No, I think the shows are better. I don't think they're as good as you guys like on the internet think they are. But this is one of the good things he's doing, to create matches in a different way, to attract like a wider audience. Because not everything happens in the ring. Not everything.
Why do you think that it's not that good? Because I think they're very good right now.
What the shows?
Yeah, WWE.
I don't think they're as good as people are making out. I don't think there's been.
You're talking about house shows or TV shows?
The TV show. I don't think the TV
shows are great, bro. They're doing great booking. They're putting.
They're not great. They're not great. They're great by
compared to what they used to be. Yes, they are.
Well, this is all subjective.
That's exactly the line you need to put in brackets, though, because I agree with you. If you put that in brackets, then yeah, they're the best shows that they've done they're the best shows in 6 years, 100%. But that's where it stops. They're better than they're as good as they were 6 years ago. But it's still not.
That's better than being as bad as they were 2 years ago.
Yeah, they're better. Well, we all agree they're better. It's just subjectively.
All the with Kevin Owens is great. All the Sami Zayn is great. All the with the bloodline is great. All that that they did this last week where, Sami Zayn came in and then Kevin Cross came in at the end and they went to black and white and then fade to black. And, bro, all of that was great. That was good storytelling.
What do you like and not like on these shows?
What, sorry?
Yeah, what do you mean? Can review these shows every week, so we get a pretty good gauge. Like, there's stuff I don't like. I'm not a fan of most of the women's stuff, but like, I'm not too much of a fan of the New Day Viking thing. But it's they're trying. But it's like I'm a fan of Rollins. I'm a fan of Riddle. I'm a fan of Sami Zayn, Owens. The Bloodline stuff, everything like. And like I'm not a fan of like a lot of, like some of the Bayley's group and stuff. Everything. I'm just, I think they're missing Becky and Charlotte right now because like I don't
and
really.
Sasha.
It's Sasha too. Like I'm not hearing like the promos on the women's side aren't that strong as they were. But what do you like and dislike?
What do I like? All right, so I like the stuff where you actually begin to tell a story. So like obviously top of the list for a while has been the bloodline and whatnot, and obviously Sammy trying to get into the group is entertaining. It's very, very easy now to build stories off that. You've now built the modern day version of the streak where the importance of beating Roman Reigns for the first time is more important than it was to beat The Undertaker when the streak was going on. Like you've done that. You've done that through wins. As much as like these people can go online and go, your wins don't matter. Like what for years they've said that, wins don't matter. 50-50 booking like doesn't make any difference. No one cares. Well, they do, because nobody's touched this guy for 3 years, and now everybody's like in their pants to see him lose and getting excited at the very thought that anybody can be remotely built up as a credible challenger, which Drew was. And everybody in that stadium thought he was going to win. I was there, so that works. The real life with Dominic and Ray, like that works. I was concerned that they from an acting perspective, like that would be difficult to do, and I think that's sometimes the difficulty that they have in terms of do they trust these performers to be able to pull off the performance aspect of it. Not everything's in ring. We all know that everybody can work now, like in the WWE. We all know it doesn't matter. The wrestling's completely irrelevant. Like in terms of it's not irrelevant in terms of it doesn't matter, but it's an irrelevant conversation for podcasters to have.
You could put any performers. You could put any performers in that company in the ring against each other, and nobody's going to say this match is going to suck.
No, it's fine.
Right.
All, I mean, there's far too much of it. That's my biggest issue. But the fact is that we don't need to critique it like to that extent. So what the real issue is the performance aspect in terms of making me give a about what happens in the ring. And Dominic, Ray, Edge, Rhea, as well, like all that creativity, like a son not wanting to be associated with his dad anymore. Like that's a story. Like
there's like a lot of Gen Zers these days.
Right, you can tell.
Like it is. He's right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yo, what up? This is Konnan, and I host Keeping It 100. My co-host Disco Inferno. Unfortunately,
well, I'd say you're my co-host.
Listen, every Thursday here on Spreaker, we talk pro wrestling, sports, movies, music, TV, pop culture, and some politics. It's everything the rest of the pro wrestling podcasts are not.
Tune in to hear myself, the superior one, educate and inform.
Tune in to hear me bury Disco.
That's very disrespectful.
Join us every Thursday on Spreaker and keep it 100. Boom!